Okay, I thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters, transmitting masters, mercy of the grand predecessor and predecessors, and transmitting masters to have this opportunity to continue talking about this topic. Actually, last time I didn't quite. There's just one thing that was left on the previous one here, which is on 10 here. Yeah, so that was the last thing here. Basically, because it was talking about the 5 religions, are they all the same and all that? Yeah. So these are talking about the 3 here: the Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, right? I mean, they just use different terms to talk about these things, right? Confucianism, we talk about the 5 constant virtues: benevolence, justice, propriety, wisdom, faith. In Buddhism, they talk about the 5 disciplines. It actually refers to the same thing, the same principles, you can say. Not to kill, right? That's benevolence. Not to steal is justice. Not to be lustful, observing propriety. Not to drink, you have wisdom. Not to lie is having trust or faith. Okay. In Taoism, they use seemingly very different terminology. They use the elements. It's like, wow, how do you figure out that matches the other? But that's like in the I Ching, right? That's how they use it, right? So, but it's in Taoism, it's wood refers to benevolence. It's like the growth, right? The giving, nurturing. Metal is justice, I guess, like metal. Sword of justice, I guess.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
It's rigid.
Rigid.
Right? It's wood.
Well,
metal is rigid.
Well, wood is flexible, yeah.
Wood is flexible.
Yeah.
Metal
is rigid.
Even though it is hard, but it
It's straight sometimes.
Yeah, it can flex.
Well, but it can, branches, they. Yeah.
But metal is hard.
So you're saying justice is rigid?
Yeah, it is. It's what's right is right.
Okay, yeah, cause and effect, right? That's very.
Moral is moral.
That's very. Yeah, okay, all right, you can say that. Water and propriety, though, how's that?
Water purifies
Pure-
things, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, water flows naturally.
Well,
So
yeah,
propriety
okay. Follows
what
the
we should also
natural.
follow what is proper. Just be in flow with it.
Be humble, like.
Yeah, like that too.
Yeah, okay,
That
humble,
also.
yeah, that's part of propriety, I guess. Okay. Wisdom is fire. Fire of wisdom, I don't know.
Fire means light, you can say.
Light
It's that
of wisdom,
It's
okay.
that light.
Right.
You know.
And then the earth is like faith.
Because earth is, you say, it's the
Yeah.
foundation.
Right.
It's the base, base.
Yeah,
right?
it's like you gotta have a ground to stand on,
Yeah,
right? It's
right.
like,
And so that's
Yeah.
the faith.
so, yeah. So, okay, so yeah, I mean, they're all referring to the same thing. I mean, they're just talking about it in a different way, but
Yeah, so that's why in
Firm.
Confucianism,
Earth is firm.
faith is in the
not
quote,
water.
is in the
but
center.
center, yeah, that's
Yeah,
like the
but
earth.
actually
You're standing on the earth, oh, yeah,
No,
right.
it's at the
Firm,
center.
right?
I
Something
mean,
that's firm, right?
yeah, well, yeah,
Something
it's
that you
Also,
rely
you
on.
build a house
support, it's
on
dependable,
a rock.
it's
Yeah.
You
dependable.
don't build a house on a swamp, right? Or something like
Oh,
that.
that's still good, but
Right.
the point is that it is something that
Yeah.
basically you base everything on.
Right,
That's why
like the earth
Earth-
supports everything, the life, everything,
Yeah,
right?
well,
So-
earth, has,
Yeah, so that's how they. I mean, I guess in Christianity and Islam, they don't have this equivalent. I don't know.
well,
they don't.
Islam has the 5 pillars.
Oh, they have
Three
the-
Yeah,
pillars.
they have that.
That's
too.
similar
It's
to-
three
yeah.
pillars. I
3
think.
pillars.
No, they have.
Is it 5?
No, they have a 5
No,
something.
3 pillars and
5.
isn't there 5 things that they have to do in their life?
Well, yeah, 5
Like-
pillars, yeah.
No, 3
Going back,
pillars.
No, there's 5.
charity,
That's yeah. It's actually in there.
prayer,
Yeah, I think I have it in here
Oh,
actually,
okay.
somewhere.
Yeah.
No,
But
you did
anyway,
something-
yeah, there was something in
that's
here.
3, right? Did you
Here,
do 3?
5
right?
pillars.
5 pillars, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Faith,
Faith,
prayer,
charity,
charity,
fasting,
fasting,
pilgrimage.
pilgrimage. Right,
Yeah, yeah.
5 pillars.
And they have, it's 5 orders and 5 pillars.
Yeah, it's 5 orders, right? 5 pillars.
But anyways, yeah, okay. All right, so let's just finish this part. All right, so this continuing then. Okay, so yeah, there's this question that's okay. Why does, if we look at the Tao lineage? Well, that actually we'll get to that too. The Tao lineage, we say, all right, it starts in China, it goes to India, and it comes back to China. Okay, so why did it start in China? Some people, they ask that. So, yeah, it's
Somebody asked that, right?
well, yeah,
In Ohio.
yeah, I guess so.
Andy.
Right. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, you can look at. I mean, we don't have I can't say we have a definitive answer as to why it's definitely that way. You can just say it just is, right? But you can look at some things. Okay, the highest mountain range in the world is what? The Himalayas, right? So that's it's in Asia for one, and it's between like China and India, which is interesting because those are the two,
South,
the east and west, I guess,
Most
east and west.
populous countries
Those are
also.
the two most populous countries too. Okay, and then that's where the heritage, the lineage of Tao went through those two.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
so it's very interesting. Now, of course, Zhongguo, China, they call themselves the center,
Or the Middle Kingdom.
the Middle Kingdom, which is the middle of the world, I guess, I don't know how they come up with that, but,
Oh no, it's related to the fact that all civilizations, they think they are the center of the world. Just as in the Western civilizations, you have Mediterranean. Mediterranean means what?
Middle Sea.
C.
oh, okay,
exactly.
all right, so
Same idea.
okay, all right, so it's not, okay.
It's not unique.
Yeah, it's not unique then. Okay.
It's relative.
Yeah, it's relative. All right. So the oldest, right. So there are many ancient civilizations,
Right. But that's
Uh,
the most important, I think.
but yeah, you can say it's a continuous
Right.
uh,
Because, yeah.
tradition.
Because if
Well,
you
not
look
just
at the
tradition.
Egyptians, right?
Yeah, they were
people
around.
say,
They were
"Oh, yeah,
ancient.
Okay, they started like 4000 BC, their civilization. But they ended by the time of Alexander the Great.
Right. So they were conquered and they're gone
500
basically.
BC, they were
That
wiped out.
culture, you can say,
Yeah,
that
that
culture is gone. The
civilization.
civilization culture is gone. Even though maybe, well, even the
No,
language is not
yeah.
left. No, it's
No,
different.
even language
Different
changed.
language. Yeah,
Even
different
language
language.
changed.
Okay.
They used to speak whatever ancient Egyptian
Yeah.
languages.
I want to interrupt for a second, okay? China is not the oldest civilization.
Yeah, it's not the oldest.
What's interesting,
Well,
let me tell you
well,
something.
that's- see, that's
No,
hard
it
to
isn't.
say.
Well, we don't know yet.
No, it
That-
isn't. It
No,
isn't.
that's questionable.
No,
That's
no,
the
it
open
isn't. It
question.
isn't. No,
No,
it
because
isn't.
people say it's the
Euphrates.
Middle East. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No,
Middle
no,
East.
the
yeah,
Mesopotamian.
Well, actually, the Egyptian during the same time around.
Well-
the Egyptian. But because civilization is defined as a certain level of
Yeah.
Okay.
development,
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of development. Okay?
Yeah.
Because China at that time was not. Even during the Shang or the
No,
even
Xia,
the Xia,
Xia.
even Xia. Right?
No, how about the South East?
Yeah, no.
Well, but it was
By,
like
but that time that was already
You're like
the yellow, but the yellow
400,
emperor is
400
before
BC
that.
only.
No. That's
yellow-
like 3000
2000.
BC.
Well,
roughly.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Egyptian civilization,
Well, it's 4000. They say.
right?
it's
The
4000.
Middle Kingdom was around 3000 BC. That
Yeah,
was the
then-
middle,
then
not
there's
even the
the-
prior,
yeah,
right?
then the-
So anyway, what's very interesting is this: you all know about the old predecessor, right?
Yeah.
Finland, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Grand British.
Yeah, grand predecessor, excuse me, grand predecessor. Okay. Now it's said that because he always have these little
Angels.
Shentong,
Angel.
next to him, which we can't see.
That's what they say.
But he hears. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. So I went
He
first
hears
time.
them?
Yeah. I
Supposedly they speak into
No,
his ear.
I tell you the truth. He does. I saw
But
him.
it's sometimes I think
No,
I visited him at
He's-
Fortune Mountain.
does he talk to them?
He would be talking to us, and then he would be like, "Stop it!" He would be like, "Listen to something."
Yeah, exactly.
I said, "Oh, maybe
Because-
he's getting old."
No, because he does have hard hearing on one ear.
He does.
However, when I first met him, when I went to Taiwan in '88, I think it's '88 or '90. Okay, we went there. We went to visit him, and then he was talking to us about, how great China is. Because he's Chinese. He's great China. And then he mentioned, he goes, how China is the oldest civilization in the world. And then right there when I heard that, I said, no, that's wrong, which is true. He is wrong. Okay. And then what happened is, as he was speaking, and then in the middle of what he's saying, he goes, Nobody was speaking. He just went,
Yeah.
He put his hand to his ear, the good ear, and then he just sort of like leaned over. Okay, and then, he heard something, okay, and then he continued talking afterwards, right? But then it was toward the end of his talk already. Okay, so the next day, when we went to see him again, he says, Egypt is the oldest civilization. He changed his statement. He changed it.
The angels told him.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because at that time, when I first time, I go, no, you're wrong. I'm sorry. You're the grand predecessor, but you're still wrong. Because my understanding is that it is not the oldest civilization. And yet,
They say
he got corrected. And I was like so surprised. I go, oh! It's very
debatable.
interesting.
Yeah, it depends on how you define the civilization.
but
whether,
yeah, it has to be
you know,
the-
yeah.
certain
what
level.
level? What
Yeah,
level?
what level?
That's
Yeah.
subjective
Development,
too.
right.
That's subjective too. Even though it's true in let's say if we could have a time machine, we go back 3000 BC, and then you're able to, let's say, visit everywhere, and then you can say, okay, at 3000 BC, Egypt, you have to admit it's pretty advanced
Yeah.
because they're already building pyramids at that
Yeah.
time. Below,
Already.
not the giant pyramid that we
Yeah.
know of,
Yeah.
but they're start building small pyramids. The giant pyramid came a little bit later. Okay,
It's the step
Cheops,
pyramids they
right?
were building.
Cheops,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Or
But
whatever.
no, the reason why they can say that is because when they look at the Yellow River development civilizations over there, because that's where China started up. The level of development that they had at the time around 3000 BC, or the beginning of the Qingyang, what we call it, they say they can basically make it equal, if you will, in terms of development to the Egyptians during their 4000 or the first dynasty, the dynastic periods when they started the dynasty.
Pre-pharaonic period.
Yeah,
That's
or whatever
even
they call it.
earlier.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so they say, oh, okay, the development looks like it's about the
Came a
same.
little bit later, but came
So
later.
therefore, that means that which came first? Obviously, Egyptians, because by the time China's development had already started during the Shang and the Xia, at that time, Egypt was already at a much higher level already. So that's why they say that.
Development meaning who's more advanced, or?
Yeah, that's what we mean by civilization.
Yeah,
Generally,
you
we
say
say,
that.
level of, let's say,
Well,
you all have language,
culture.
you all have
Culture.
language, and then arts,
Technology.
sciences, technological development, urbanization, level of, or agricultural advancement. Do you guys still, are still, gathering and picking up berries or fruits, or do you already know how to
Cultivate.
grains and stuff like that? Stuff like that.
You can also
science.
say moral
Yeah, you can do
No,
moral
but then
aspect
they have
too.
laws. They have, because once you have
Also, that's
civilization,
also-
that means you have to have like what? Leaders. You have to have leaders. It's no longer cavemen, tribes. This is my cave. I'm the king of this cave or whatever. Stuff like that. No, you're gonna have
There's some kind of
sense
order.
order, structure,
Structure.
social structure. Social structure. That means you have, family, and then you have, society. You have, leaders, and then followers, etc. All that, and then laws. You have to have laws. But Hammurabi's law is pretty. Well, that's not that ancient. But anyway, even before then. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so the point is that's how we generally, or
yeah.
anthropologists or sociologists or historians define civilization. I mean, but sometimes the standards or the levels can be subjective. It can be subjective.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between civilization and culture. So you can say civilization is built upon culture,
Mm.
that's true. But you can say culture because I can say, hey, the ancient Aborigines of Australia, they've been in Australia for at least we know 10,000, 20,000 years. So that's pretty ancient, but they don't have a civilization. Get it? Because their level.
Still pretty primitive.
Yeah, they don't have a written
Right.
language. They speak.
Yeah, right.
They don't have a written language. And they don't have, what's their social structure? Pretty
Yeah.
base
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
They have leaders, they have tribal leaders, they have clans and stuff. But it's not sophisticated, it's not as advanced. They don't have, big walls or stuff like that. They don't have cities, they don't have roads, they don't build pyramids, their science is very primitive, if that, right? So that's how they define, get it?
Yeah.
So cultures exist. Yeah, there are many ancient cultures. Many. Africa, the South Africa, all that. American Indians, I don't know American Indians, whatever. Native Americans, right? So the Native American culture is different from, let's say, the Aztecs, the Incas, because they're civilization, because they're more advanced. They have, right, mathematics. They have their calendar, the Mayan
Right.
calendar or whatever. They build their own pyramids. They build roads. They have cities. They have laws. They have rituals. They have art. Develop art. Even though you could say cultures have art too, but it's a higher level or
Right.
more advanced. In the development.
Right.
I
So-
think one thing we have to notice is if we are talking in Chinese, the civilization is broader, and it's like culture stems out of civilization. That's how the Chinese will talk about 文明 versus 文化.
文化, yeah,
文化
that's
is a more, I think, word related, language, arts. Poems, literature.
Yeah, literature,
It has
even
not-
science, etc. All that.
Not much to do with science
Well,
and technology.
culture.
So it's narrow in Chinese.
No, okay.
文化.
That's true. Culture could be narrow. That's true. Civilization is broader. I agree. Civilization encompasses everything, arts, sciences, law, society,
Right.
all that stuff, economics, all that.
Yeah. So, right. So even though, I mean, China was, well, the Mongols, right, invaded them for a little while, right? The
Yeah,
Kublai
but that's
Khan.
more
and-
recent. That's like
Well, that's
1700s.
that's later on. But I'm saying, they never lost their, China never lost
Identity.
the identity. You can say the language is always continuous. Like today,
The culture.
yeah. I mean, most, yeah. So most of it's continuous as
Right,
opposed to
right.
other, like even India.
Right.
The ancient.
It's different.
It's
They speak English now because they adopted the English because the English
Yeah.
occupied
I mean,
them.
the primary.
Right,
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of their laws and stuff
Right, are based on-
adopted from the
Right,
British.
Right.
system.
So no other ancient civilization has really kind of
Retained their
continued.
identity.
Yeah.
Like the Egyptians, right?
Right. It's completely
They're
different now.
just speaking Arabic
Yeah,
now,
right,
you know.
Right.
So.
So yeah, so that's one one way to look at it. Now, of course, this is there's a correlation, right? In science, we say there's correlation and there's cause, right? Causality, but this not necessarily there's causality, okay? But there's correlation definitely. All right. Okay. Okay. So talking about okay, this is another question here. Is 4 difficult factors in receiving the Tao, right? So this, okay. So being human, of course, we know that we have to have language. We have to have, kind of intellect to be able to convey the ideas, the concepts, to be able to, do that. So now Lao Tzu says, I worry about my body, but I treasure my body as well. So basically, the body, because as human beings, we can, you could say, the human nature, good and bad, right? So we have desires. So Buddha talks about that, right? Create desires and attachments, so that then we might commit sins. But yet, at the same time, we need this body to cultivate, to attain enlightenment, right? To transcend. So that it's kind of like everything's like a two-edged, double-edged sword, so to speak. It's like a tool that you can use either way.
Duality.
Yeah, it's a duality. Unfortunately, we live in a duality, and so that's the nature of everything. So, so we just have to. So we have to use our wisdom to know to use it in the right way, right? Okay, so being born human, so now the world is obviously the human population is increasing.
So that's not bad.
Yeah, there's more
You have more
chance
opportunity.
for people to
to encounter
the
the
Tao.
cultivate.
Although it's interesting, because they say, well, I mean, because the animal population is not necessarily decreasing necessarily.
No, they said they are.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the wild, in the wild, yeah, they're
Species
losing,
are
yeah. A lot of them
extinct.
become extinct.
At an
That's true.
alarming rate, at a faster rate
Right,
than,
right,
let's say,
right, right.
the last 10,000 years
Right,
or something.
but there's still a lot of like factory farm animals. That's increasing. That seems to be increasing. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how they add that
Yeah,
up.
I don't know
but-
how they calculate
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
but
don't know.
anyways.
I think they meant in the wild.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Then the other important aspect, of course, is being born during this time that we're in, White Era, before the White Era, before about 100 years ago,
So roughly 100 years.
roughly
right?
100 years ago.
This 100-year window. From 1926, let's say.
Yeah,
20,
the
when the 18th
20s,
patriarch is
yeah.
their mandate,
Yeah.
basically.
1920s,
So count 100 years,
1930.
you can calculate, right? So
Roughly,
2026,
almost 100, yeah.
2026, 2025.
Basically, the Tao wasn't really available to most people before that. So now it's available as long as we have that
Universal
affinity.
salvation.
Universal, right? And then being born Chinese, well,
It goes back to that.
it can go back to that previous thing, but also, I guess, yeah, because of that tradition, because of that culture, that civilization, that it's easier for them, you could say, for them to
Because the mandate is in the east.
yeah, well,
That's
now
why.
it's in the east, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Since the second half of the 18th, the 18 patriarchs, right?
right.
Of the red white period, the second half of the red period,
Right.
basically, or the last half
Right.
of the red period. So
Um,
that's why, being born Chinese, you have a greater chance
Of encountering.
the Tao.
Right, and also not just encountering, but also kind of having that affinity or
Affinity,
something, yeah.
Oh, that's encounter.
Well-
That's encounter.
Well,
Yeah,
but but encounter, you can encounter, but you may not believe it.
That's
But they
true, that's true,
believe
that's true.
that the belief system is similar.
Foundation.
Yeah, the
it's
foundation,
the
yeah.
Foundation.
Yeah, so,
Isn't it during the White Era
come down to the world too. Yeah, yeah, they reincarnate. Yeah, as right. So they can receive the Tao too. Yeah. A lot of them also come down. So it's not just. Well, yeah. So where do all these humans are coming from, right? So either from there or even underworld they'd be
animals.
reborn, or
From
even from animals. Yeah,
Yeah.
potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point of why being a Chinese actually, it just so happened, of course, it's really geographic, okay? If you look at the population of the world, even in ancient times, China has a huge population. Even India did. Even India, but India came second, actually, right? Okay, so wherever there is, of course, a greater populace or people, the number of people, then obviously it's the best place where you can actually, encounter other, whatever. Because after all, we do say that, we say you have to encounter and receive the true Tao.
Right.
But that's we're really talking about in terms of human to human. Okay. Because in ancient times, it isn't just because you have to meet a human enlightened master. No. Because, for example, it's all, of course, the Tao is self-awakening, okay? But the triggering of that self-awakening can sometimes, be other things. But the transmission itself, Dian Dao, okay, Dian Dao, even though you're awakened, if you still haven't been Dian Dao or opened that trigger, it's still not good enough, okay? So the Dian Dao aspect can be done by Shenfu directly, because but they don't have to do it that way, but it can be done that way also. Because there are many people who cultivate the Tao still throughout history, in China, and they're not part of the lineage or they're not part of whatever. They still receive the transmission. So, but being Chinese is only because they happen to be the most populous geographic area compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
guess.
why, that's why the Tao also went to India.
Yeah, right.
Because they were the
Population.
second most populous.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you want to spread something, you might spread it in where there's a lot of people.
Yeah, you don't want to go into
concentration.
Yeah, you don't
Where
want
there's
to
a
go to the
concentration of
deserts of Africa.
where there's no one there.
That
doesn't make sense. So you can't. Yeah, you spread
What
that.
good is that?
Yeah, right.
What good is that?
So that's why being a Chinese just so happens because we happen to have a lot of population.
Yeah, I guess-
population here. If it was somewhere else, then honestly,
Yeah.
that would not be Chinese.
Right.
It would be really
No, but
nasty.
also it lends to the fact that the chances are that any given location would have greater amount of people is because you also have the longest continuous civilization.
Oh, yeah, that
because then
too.
that means
Right.
it's always stable.
It's pretty
relatively,
stable,
quote unquote
yeah.
stable. Not to say that there's no wars.
Right.
Of course there is, but still in the big picture, it's stable so that then
They can
people
continue
can
to
continue to
prosper or
flourish,
whatever, yeah,
to
flourish.
grow. Not like you get wiped out by
Yeah,
a famine or
right.
by a plague like the Incas or the Mayas, right? They got
Right.
wiped out
Yeah, right.
by some
Disease,
natural
yeah,
disaster.
right.
Boom, it disappeared from what? So that's not stable. So
Right.
that's not a continuous civilization, right?
Right.
Right. So it lends itself, it reinforces.
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. So, yeah.
Is it because also Buddha speaks Mandarin? Because most
No.
of the
We shouldn't
No, no. The language is not.
It's
Well-
based on because they became Buddhas. Well, I'm gonna say
No.
Even
holy
though
teacher was a
No,
Buddha.
even though they in Indonesia and things like
Huh.
that, the ceremony is still in Mandarin.
Oh well, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's because the three talents.
No,
It has
but
to be-
Because
Yeah.
of the talent.
but definitely language is very important because like the Chinese language is very rich, I think more so than other languages.
Yeah, it has a lot of
It has a lot of concepts and things that are in
meaning. Yeah,
there.
It holds a lot of meaning.
Yeah,
One character, whereas Western language
Right.
in general are very specific, very narrow.
Exclusive.
Yeah, very specific, very narrow. You can say very narrow. That's why their science is very developed.
Yeah.
Why? Because science requires that you have to be very
Very
precise.
specific, yeah, right.
Very precise. You know that? Yeah. No, science is like that. So that's the definition of, well, one characteristic of science.
Right.
Is you have to be very precise, very specific. And so that's why West science developed very, advanced very rapidly because their language lends to that. It's a good vehicle, maybe that's gonna say, or a good platform for their science to develop. Whereas China, I wouldn't say science didn't develop, but it's different. The focus is maybe a little bit different.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. The words are very rich. Has a lot of meaning, right?
Right.
The Tao. Yeah, just
Yeah.
explain Tao. Tao
Yeah,
has
that's-
so many meanings.
Right.
So example, and also not just meaning, but the character itself has a very rich, like you
Right,
say,
right.
implies a lot of things. A lot of things.
Right.
You know, the two, the one,
Yeah,
and
the
then
ko,
the
yeah.
zi,
Split.
the self,
Oh.
and then a way, a motion. You
that,
can say
oh,
motion, direction, whatever.
Yeah,
that.
the Tao.
So it means a lot
Yeah,
of things.
right.
Whereas in English, a word, path. So what?
It's
Path.
just-
Path.
It's a
doesn't carry that
it's a
rich meaning.
phonetic language.
Right.
That's why.
Path is just very narrow. Yeah, this is the path. That's it. But it doesn't say anything else. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yeah. So that's why the language, you can say, kind of embodies a lot of those
It's
deep
pictograph. It's
concepts
like
and things
pictograph
like that.
things.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
a picture.
right.
So picture hat.
Right.
A picture is worth what? 10,000 words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, okay, so the white ear, okay, so at the beginning of the white ear, yeah, actually, although the white ear is long, right, 10,800 years, but the Tao being made available will only be at the beginning, okay, of that period. So how long? Maybe not too long, maybe 100, 200 years, okay? So,
They say 100 years.
yeah, so, okay, so roughly, yeah, we can kind of see, because already that mandate, or, you know, the patriarchal mandate has ended, and so, you know, we're on borrowed time, you can say. So that window is going to be closing. And we can kind of see the developments in the world, what's happening, right? It's kind of getting more,
Hey, when you
Crazy.
think about it, you know, when Simu, right? 陈道, right? Or
Yeah,
Wei Kong.
yeah.
Okay. 1972?
75.
75. So that's roughly 50 years after 18th patriarch. You see there.
Well, they received in 1930, but the 17th patriarch returned to heaven in 1925, so that's 50 years from that.
Yeah, very interesting. So 50 times 2 is 100. So it's roughly half.
Uh-huh.
Half of this.
Right.
The universal salvation.
Right.
Very interesting.
So, okay, and then, all right, so finally, yeah, being, okay, so yeah, obviously we see it in temples, of course, it's mostly Chinese, but of course there are some temples that in other places that maybe there are fewer Chinese, okay, so that's possible. Okay, so now encountering and receiving the true Tao, okay, so obviously it's not just being able to, there are a lot of Chinese who don't receive the Tao, so either they don't have the affinity or they just don't believe, or all these factors. Now, okay, so the Buddha says, right, one who finds his origin becomes a Buddha, one who cannot find his origin practices blindly, right? So we have to find that true self, that true, or that Tao, that way, right? Otherwise, all these practices, it's kind of like, well, today, religion, yeah, it's based on faith, but faith in what? And also, I mean, it's a lot of it's going through the motions, right? Just like a tradition that's passed down, as opposed to there's missing that essence. Okay, so that's something that keep in mind. All right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, then there's yeah, I don't have that slide in here. Yeah, there's the Chinese character for Asia, right? Right. It's like it looks like a cross, like. Okay, I have it?
Yes.
You saw it? Oh yeah, there it is. Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's like a gateway to
So that has a
heaven.
meaning in that.
Gateway,
word.
yeah, it's like the gateway to heaven, the crossroads to heaven. So going through there, so that, yeah, I guess that, so that's kind of related to the China, being in China. So yeah, I forgot to mention that one. All right. Okay. So yeah, again, these characters have, there's a meaning behind
It's
it.
a picture.
Yeah, right.
See, but the difficulty is how do you
Interpret that, yeah,
That's the problem. So that's where the difficulty lies.
Right. Okay. All right. So then there's this question in here about what's a yuanzi or yanfozi. Yanfozi. This is a short for yanfozi, which is original child or original Buddha, I
Literal
guess.
translation.
Yeah. That's so in the beginning, right? In that cycle, right? We see the cycles. Humans. Well, according to Buddhas, again, it's like about 60,000 years. But back then, humans were almost animal-like, I guess.
So you're saying appearance-wise?
Yeah, but even, I mean, they have no Well, because they have no civilization, no culture really. They're just like
You're
surviving.
talking about like the cavemen.
They're just like
Cave-
surviving like animals. You know, there's
You're
no
talking about
not
the
much.
Paleolithic.
Yeah, there's
Stone Age.
not much difference, right? And then, well, according to the
Primitive. We're
yeah, they're
primitive.
very primitive. Now, according to this, I don't know. This is what they wrote in here is that okay. So God saw that this isn't perfect. So you know, there should be someone or some beings that are more can be kind of be stewards of the world or have dominion over the world, and so they need to have intellect, and then that's when the souls or whatever they come to enter these yen folds that come down. So before that, I mean, they were basically animals. So there does seem to be there's a difference then between humans and animals. Humans having well, obviously we talk about the soul. We do say that animals have soul, but it's more like spirit, animal spirit. Okay, I would say it gets confusing now because we say, oh, people can reincarnate as animals. then that's a little bit confusing. But right.
Well, not really. Okay. Sometimes I don't know. It's going to be hard to accept for some people because my grandmother definitely had an argument. Well, I had a discussion with her about it, and we agreed to disagree, so to speak. When you look at this, all right, when you talk about this, that aspect, unfortunately, it lends into evolution. Now, evolution, according to evolutionary science, we sort of like evolved from the original,
Wow.
very primates.
But not necessarily apes, though.
Well, ape-like.
It's primates. It's primates, not ape.
Like
Primates. Yeah, primates like a monkey. Really. Okay. So that's hence the whole. That's why Christianity is a big issue with it and all that. But first of all, yeah, when I first encountered that, because again, at that time I was not too much into doubt, but I was definitely into a lot of science, including biological science. And I came to my conclusion is, yeah, we did come from primitive. Because after all, even if you look at all the Jingdian, different sutras, Dao De Jing, whatever, you'll see the fact that, especially Dao De Jing, Dao Fa Zhi. The method of Dao is what? That which is what?
Natural.
Natural.
Yeah.
Okay, we include it's natural.
But that
So-
natural is different.
Yeah, what does that mean,
than
natural?
Nature. You see, that there's a
Yeah,
difference.
but no, but still, it follows. Okay, so anyway, so this lends itself to evolution. Okay, so that's why on the first part, human we're like animals, etc. Of course, if you look at the evolutionary process of going from primates to us, you do see that. You do see that. It's evident in that. Okay, and then now, when we're talking about no human intellect, language, culture, whatever civilization, it just means the fact that the physical body, the brain itself, has certain ways to develop before it becomes us. Right? So even though the saints come down, just because there's Chifu, right? 7 Buddhas, right? 7 Buddhas, each with their own period of time, right? Okay. Now, whether they reincarnate many times, we don't know. We don't know because that period is pretty long. And we know in those days, no humans or no animal like humans could live that long. They still live through 50 years, 60
Well,
years, whatever.
I don't know.
Whether
Well,
it was
we don't
long
know.
or not, we don't
Yeah.
know. But definitely not like a whole period, 10,000 years, because each of those are roughly 10,000 years. Okay, so the point is that when they reincarnate, if you will, they still have to use whatever tool they have, which is whatever human body they have, to be able to teach whatever. Okay, one can only say that they may have more wisdom, but they may not have necessarily the scientific, knowledge or whatever to say, oh, okay, this is how you build a dwelling. You first got to make bricks, and the way to make bricks, you got to take mud. No, okay, not necessarily. Okay, they may not have that, but they do have the wisdom, and the wisdom allows them to do what they were able to do. Okay, but in terms of technical knowledge, no. But again, it's all depends on what you can use as a tool. That is why, to answer
Evelyn.
Evelyn's question about, or curious about why is it that the 3 talents speak Chinese? Okay. I asked that question about when I first met them, why?
Because some Americans say,
Why
why
don't
can't
you
they speak English?
Yeah, because you're God. You're the saint of
You
Buddha.
said you were-
You should be omnipotent, right? No. But yes, they are omnipotent, but they can only make use of the tool that they have. And the tool that they have is a Chinese brain, a brain who only learned Chinese, because the Thailands were only Chinese, right? And so therefore they only know the Chinese language. So therefore, all they can do is express things in Chinese. Okay, because right now, another group has talents, or training talents, who does it in English.
There is another group?
Yeah, in 派种的.
I think they have it in Japan already that can speak Japanese.
It doesn't matter, yeah. So the talents, when they do the sound writing,
They're gonna speak
it's in the
English.
language that they know only.
But they're not
And it's
gonna
not
speak
Chinese.
Chinese.
They don't know Chinese.
In other words,
No.
their language ability is still limited by the body they are able
Yes,
to.
Well,
the tool that
it-
they're using.
It's
Yeah.
not,
But
well, it's not exactly.
It doesn't
like
mean that they don't know that, because for instance, because they are Ling Xing, right? Okay, so other Buddha, they themselves can do it in different languages if they have that skill set still in there. Because like when my cousin, Xinhua was doing, she's a talent, does Chinese, but because she knows some English, she can also do some things in English. Okay, because I remember she was helping us translate the Tolliji was composed of sutra in Chinese, and then he wanted us to do it in English and change it to English. And now we couldn't translate that well, so he actually started using some words, English words to form that. But the point is that it's all based upon the tool, because in the case in California where we had the 3 talents come, okay, and one of the younger talents who hasn't read as much as the other talents about Sisu, the 4 books, so she is not well versed in terms of the Wen Wen, the
Classic Chinese.
Classical Chinese, okay, classical Chinese things. It's like Shakespearean English in English, okay. So when she came to try to compose
Oh, in Chinese. It's just Chinese. Yeah.
in Chinese, she couldn't do it. There was like gaps.
There was.
No,
Yeah.
she had gaps because she couldn't. And it was Lü Zusi who came too, one of the enforcers of the rules and regulation. Now he could do as good as anybody, teacher even, but she couldn't do it. She would pause for a long period of time trying to come up, and because her tool does not. The tool that he was using does not have the ability. Okay, so the second day, teacher came and he patched up. He filled in all those blanks. Because he left some blanks. The first Lü Zusi, because
I
he
thought that
could
was
not.
on purpose.
No, because she did not have she was the youngest of the 3 talents.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, Liu Jie. Okay, and
Was
she.
that recent?
Yeah, that was like the first the Fawi that we had in California. The only
Chino.
time in Chino.
Chino. Oh.
3 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, 3 or 4 years ago. Okay,
Oh, really?
and so therefore she could not
Really?
do that. And I kept wondering. I go, why are you pausing? What? And then, like I said, it just then I then remember what I thought about in terms of being able to why talents don't speak in different languages. It reinforced that, and I realized that that is why, because it's the tool that you have. That's why talents today, when they train talent, besides doing that, they are told they have to study homework, and their homework is the 4 books to learn Yin Yang, to learn it, because this way they do have the knowledge of that, so that they can use it, apply it properly.
Well, yeah,
How
I
did
mean,
they switch the talent?
No, at
that-
that time, that situation,
Yeah.
the saint had to use her instead of
Ah.
someone else.
yeah, but I mean, that's certainly a factor, although it depends on the type of channeling. I mean, so like sand writing, there's no
Right.
limitation.
Yeah, samurai is different.
Sand writing, so it depends on the type of channeling. So because this type of channeling, they're in this body, they're using this body. That's it. Now the sand writing, they're just moving their arms, so they
That's
can
correct.
they can do whatever they want. So it depends. So other types of channeling, like or whether like in the the Last Supper in the Bible, right? Those disciples started speaking in tongues, which they didn't know the language, they didn't know. So that's again, the spirit can use that, can just use them to start talking. So yeah, it depends on the type of channeling. But anyways, So actually humans, whether or not maybe whether or not we actually evolved from, primates or whatever, just like in Bible says, we were created in the image of God, which is we have that special true nature, that true self, 佛性, okay, that Buddha nature, which distinguishes us from animals. So that is the big difference. Okay. So and then
Well, actually, according to Liu Jiangshi, I believe this is correct, and I may be wrong though. He says the difference between us and animals is that we are aware that we have a 佛性, whereas animals do have 佛性, but they are not aware of that. So therefore, that's why you don't talk about 佛性 to the animals, because as far as they're concerned, it doesn't exist. Okay, but I believe that's my interpretation of what he said. Okay, now I may be wrong, but because of the fact that after all living things, all sentient beings have 佛性. That's why the Buddha says sentient beings.
well, they have a life force, but not necessarily
okay.
the full.
Yeah, but because it's still the Tao. Because after all, what did Manchu say? The Tao is in everything. It's in the ants. It's in the
that's the life force.
So
that I'm talking
but if it's just the life force, but he calls it the Tao. So therefore, to say okay, life force and Tao and 佛性 are different things. No, it's not. 佛性 is the Tao.
No, but the Tao encompasses everything. So
Right.
it's not just the 佛性.
Yes.
That's
No,
the
it-
thing.
no,
So
it
that's
isn't just
why.
佛性. That's
Right. So
correct,
it could
that's
be. So it's all just the plants have the Tao too. So you can't. They don't have 佛性.
But
So there's a differentiation between.
But that means that implies that when an animal reincarnates as a human, he gets added a 佛性, which is not the case, in my opinion. It's not the case. Or that when a person reincarnates as an animal, they lose that 佛性. See,
Well,
that means that
yeah,
you're becoming separate.
Well,
separate
yeah. I mean, the
entities.
way they say it's somewhere else. Okay, it's not in the animal itself.
That's
Okay,
true.
it's.
No, we say that's a projection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
possible. You can say it that way, but yeah, it's really.
But that's
But
getting
however,
very technical.
But that-
again,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, my interpretation is that I may be wrong, but anyway.
Right. But anyways, okay. So, but obviously, in the beginning, when humans were primitive, they need someone who's has that wisdom to guide them to start building things, etc. Okay. So
Because even though we're like animals, we still have 佛性.
So then that's the start of culture.
yeah,
That's
that would be the
development.
start of culture, right? Like obviously, I guess the earliest time, using fire. That's like
Right,
the earliest.
fire.
the
Who
earliest.
was the first? Liu
No.
Zhaozi?
Well, Fuxi.
Oh no, okay.
But Fuji didn't
No,
do these things.
No.
Oh, you're talking about
those
Chifu. Oh, the Chifu.
Yeah, who came first? Because there was a first one and a second one and a third one, right?
XI-XII.
This is not. Yeah, this is not
that
in
in
the.
order?
This is not.
During the fourth period, fourth wave.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, what was the order? Who was the first?
I don't know. It doesn't say in here.
Then Jia,
Doesn't say? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the.
Yeah.
It's in
Okay,
this
who's the
lineage,
first? Who's the
it's in the
first?
lineage here.
Who's the first? Who's the first?
It's the first one. It's
It's
called
just the
XI-XII.
XI-XII.
Yeah, no,
Is there
that's
XI in there?
no. It's not listed here.
It's not?
Let me
No, it's
see.
not here, Ty. You didn't. That's different. These
wait,
are
hold on a
these are the
second.
different
Oh, what happened
patriarchs.
to
Ty.
the?
You're talking about.
Oh, this is
Sendong,
patriarch?
Sendong.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Sendong.
Yeah,
is
these
one
are
of the
patriarchs.
patriarchs.
Oh, these are.
No, not all of them.
No,
No,
these are
all.
not. These are
Not
not.
all. But one of them is patriarch.
No, because
Sendong,
there
right?
is a
Yeah, Sendong.
there is the Japanese Daokin did this. They
Yeah, that
created
panel.
that
Yeah.
panel
Yeah.
that basically
Yeah,
goes through the lineage.
We have it here,
And it,
up in
and it
front.
Oh, no,
separates
we don't have
the
Oh, we don't have
separate periods, and each
Oh,
period they list
no, we don't
the
have. I don't.
Buddha
It's over there. No, I don't think so.
in charge or
No,
whatever.
we don't have it.
Yeah, we have it at home. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, there was a first one, and then it went to the second,
Yeah,
the
right,
third,
right,
fourth.
right.
Because the responsibility of managing, I guess you want to call it that.
But those
Yeah,
periods are
they're
long.
like those
periods
are long,
thousands
like
of
thousands of years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it's each way. It's almost
Yeah,
equivalent
almost
to each.
well, two per way.
Yeah, it's roughly
two per
about
way.
two because it's
No.
Roughly two.
You start at roughly 50, 60,000 years.
Yeah,
so
yeah, right. The
so it's
fourth,
like
from the
only
fourth way.
five. Wait,
The fourth.
four.
The fourth way. The fourth way. Whatever the fourth way is called.
Right.
What's the fourth way called?
No. Well,
Mao.
no. The first way,
Yeah.
in terms of human existence, is what Ty
Yeah,
called
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Not the fourth way in
Yeah.
terms of the actual diagram.
Right.
Well, the
That's-
fourth way
he's
is when
talking about
humans
different things.
existed, when humans
Yeah.
started.
So that's our first Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
yeah.
before.
Ah,
That's
okay.
what it's meant.
Right.
Yes, you have the diagram at home.
Yeah, we
No,
have
the round
Picture
diagram.
yeah,
it
yeah.
Where's
it
that
out in
round?
paper form.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have it.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because when they say about
Yeah.
because in those days, They already do
This,
it.
the
Well,
fourth.
they already know how to use fire, I think, or
So
something maybe.
there are seven
why I say
Buddhas
some of
in
them are
charge
probably
of
the
this
seven
period.
Buddhas.
Well, this is probably
These are the
not.
seven
Here,
Buddhas?
Well,
here, there are
Sun
seven
Nong may
Buddhas
be
in
one of the
charge.
Buddhas. I don't know.
Seven. So roughly
But
two
most of them are
okay?
not.
Really
'Cause I don't.
2 1/2, 2 1/3. Okay, roughly.
But
roughly.
anyways, yeah.
So,
Well, these are like.
one the
Wait,
first
actually,
one
because
from
wait a minute.
here,
Well, we'll get to that.
ruled,
Okay.
you know, governed for 6,000
Uh,
years. Then the next
and
one
then
for 4,000
There's a
years.
question,
That's two,
why
right?
is heaven called the western heaven, earth, the eastern earth, right? Western heaven, yeah, it's, west represents, it's white and represents the origin. So that's returning back to the origin. So in Buddhism, they said western, right, go to western paradise. And in eastern world, which is really just this world that we're in, right? The east, again, corresponds to spring, which is the beginning, benevolence, right? Things start growing. So earth nurtures all living beings, and that's why it's called that. Cultivating, and we have to cultivate in the east and harvest in the west. Okay, so these are just the terms. I mean, it doesn't really mean, you know,
Well, they're
in
metaphors.
our directions, east and west. It doesn't
They're
mean that.
metaphors.
Yeah, it's just a metaphor.
In a lot of the scriptures, when you talk about the East land,
Yeah,
it means the mundane world.
the
Yeah.
world. Yeah, the world we
Yeah.
live in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so that's
physical realm.
yeah, that's just okay, but it's not like the east and west in
No,
our
it's not the
directions.
direction,
Yeah,
right.
It's
yeah.
also related to time,
Oh, okay.
beginning and the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Your
It starts in the
yeah.
east. It goes from the east and it go end
Just
up in the
as
west.
sun
Yeah.
rises in the east
Right.
and ends
Right.
dawns in the west.
So yeah, okay. So this is the the lineage that we all know about, right? Oh yeah. So actually so in
Mao,
The-
Kaiser
the-
Mao.
the
Human
humans
society development in the
are-
Mao.
well around here,
No, they
around Mao.
started between Ying and
Yeah,
Mao,
yeah, in
right?
here.
But then Mao is when they really
Right.
developed.
Right.
Sorry,
So
development.
like 1,
Flourish.
2,
Flourish.
3, 4. We're now four
Yeah.
periods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's correct.
Well, see,
Well, actually, the fifth. We're entering
Well,
the fifth.
well, yeah, entering this fifth. Yeah.
Fifth,
Wait,
Wait.
we're
Yeah,
in
wait.
Yeah,
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 here,
yeah.
the 1 o'clock.
We're right now in wait.
Yeah, yeah. We're just
Five,
starting
yeah,
the
yeah.
wait.
First,
Yeah.
It's like beginning of wave. Yeah.
See, actually, remember, Buddha's always tell us, oh, we have 60,000 years of
So
karma.
that's after zi.
See, so actually, karma started from the very beginning.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
from
Even though the Tao wasn't available at this time, but
Right.
because you need, I guess you need the civilization, culture, to language to have the Tao to spread, to transmit. But so there was no Tao there, but they already created karma. Maybe it's well, even they were already eating animals actually.
or eating meat.
They're eating meat. I mean, yeah.
Well, after you discover fire.
Yeah, I mean,
Essentially.
well, you probably even
When is
before
We
that,
don't
even
know.
before that.
It could be.
Before that.
It could be. I don't know. What we say fire. What,
Pretty early, I
discovered,
guess.
100,000 years
Right,
ago.
early,
200,000,
pretty
right,
early.
roughly.
Well,
Right,
that would be
taking over
before
the-
this. That's
Yeah.
before this.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, keep that diagram in mind because when we explain people, you gotta be careful. About,
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, because this is just one
Right.
one view. It
One
may
view.
not, match what we science calls it. You know.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
actually,
What?
it does match. Excuse me. It does match.
Well,
I just want to say it does
Oh,
match.
okay, yeah,
That's why I say you have to be careful because it does match.
yeah.
I think some of it.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, okay. So we all right. So we know this heritage, and then just the green. So we say Fushisi. Now
That's
Fushisi.
already in the green.
Well, that's at the
Yeah,
beginning of the green.
that
So
is in
before
the
that,
middle
the
of
seven
the
Buddhas were
yeah,
already
middle,
started.
the seven
Between
Buddhas
Wu and
before.
Wei. Between that
Yeah, it's
green.
this-
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the
12:30.
well,
12:30.
but that's the official. But actually, Fushisi, I think he was born like about 7,000 years ago. So he was around. So Fushi.
2,000 years.
Well, Fushi and Sennong, they must have lasted for like 3,000 years almost
Well,
before the Yellow Emperor, because the Yellow Emperor is like
Oh yeah.
kind
He's
of
before the Yellow Emperor.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
way
yeah.
before the Yellow Emperor.
yeah.
That's true.
So, but actually back then, okay, it's not unusual because if you look at in the Old Testament, right?
The years.
After Adam and Eve, those people they lived for almost
Hundreds
thousands
of
of years,
years,
thousand
yeah.
of years,
Thousand
thousand
years.
years, roughly 1,000 years.
Methuselah's 900 something.
Yeah, yeah, they're almost 1,000 years. So that's
They
possible.
age.
No, I mean they lived for about
They
that
can marry
long.
at 500 years old.
It's
Yeah, they became
It's really a
mature.
metaphor.
They
It's a
became
metaphor.
adolescent.
Well,
at,
no, it may be
couple
true. I
hundred years
mean-
old, 300
No,
years old.
because the human body cannot.
No.
And that's science. Okay. And
No,
they
no,
cannot
no,
live
no.
900 years.
No, human
Yeah.
body could.
It could last longer.
If you,
Maybe in
yeah.
those days it can.
Yeah,
Not
because
90
there's no.
900 years. Trust me.
I don't know. But-
it's a metaphor in the sense that
Yeah.
they may have reincarnated. That's true. That's not a problem because you could go through as many reincarnations as you want, continuous reincarnations. Excuse me.
But, well, okay. But anyways, yeah. So, right, the
You say
Greek
the lifetimes back in the way early are pretty long. That's
probably
what they
longer.
say. That's
Yeah,
what they say.
yeah. Most likely they're longer.
Well, Buddha says what? There's a world where you could reach a period. Well, we don't
Well,
know what
yeah,
period it
yeah.
is. What cycle? 84,000 years, right? That's what they say. All the way to 10.
Yeah,
all the way
Liu
down
right.
to 10.
That's yeah. I mean, but that's probably in different realms.
Yeah,
These
that's what I'm
different,
saying. Yeah,
different,
that's what I'm
different
saying.
realms.
It's human
Okay.
realm. There
Okay.
is
So.
a scientific
but-
basis for how
Okay,
long-
yeah. So all right. So we know that during this green period, right? All these are like sage kings, or they're like saints. You know, that
They're
rulers.
all enlightened
Patriarchs.
beings.
They're
They're all
They're
pretty much
enlightened.
enlightened
They
beings.
What?
happen to be the patriarchs, right?
Well, these are all the patriarchs.
Yeah, these
Right.
happen to be
Yeah.
patriarchs. Yeah.
But so start with these kind of legendary figures, and then the first emperor, yellow emperor, and then these are all emperors, and then it goes down to kings, and then finally the duke, which is lower level, right? So the lowest level, the duke, before that's the end of the green.
Hey, you know, that needs, I
Huh?
think that may need like some change because 11, 12, 13,
Yeah.
according to
Oh,
my outline,
Oh, they're together,
they're the
right?
same.
They're same time.
And so 9, okay, 9 is right, 9 is good.
E.
But then number 10 should be
Duke is the king of the
Yin,
small-
which helped King Tang.
Ah.
And then 12 is Sang Tang. He's the leader of, the founder of the Shang dynasty. And then 12 is Tai Gong, Jiang Tai Gong.
Yeah.
12 is Jiang Tai Gong. And then 13 is
So-
Wen Wu Zhou.
those three, okay.
You know,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
which
Yeah.
they basically are contemporaries.
Right.
The
Yeah. These
11, 12,
are
13.
very close together.
They're
Yeah.
all like overlap. They
Right.
overlap.
Right.
Buddha.
Okay. Yeah. So.
We might need to.
I might need to correct this one. But yeah, but that's what's in this book. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah,
this may not be correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we have
Oh,
to
okay.
know.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is the green period, of course, we know the green period here. Although, you know, the Fuxi Si, I mean, this green period roughly less than 2,000 years, 1,500 to 2,000. But Fuxi Si actually, supposedly, he lived a lot longer than that. So he's before. Of course, he didn't, when he was born, that wasn't the beginning of the green. Okay, so either he lived a long time, well, he and Sen Nong Si, the first two,
Supposed to live very long.
lived a long time before
They
the Yellow
have a
Emperor.
picture of Fuxi in one of the books.
Well,
It shows
Ray looked like long
yeah,
nails.
yeah,
and-
Yeah,
long
long hair.
toenails.
I know.
Like-
Long hair.
Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't have nail clippers. Come on. Come on, so, okay. So,
Yeah.
okay.
They had rock clippers.
They probably have. Okay, so that's not iron. That's not the Bronze Age yet. It's pre-Bronze.
Yeah, that would be
Stone
pretty
Age,
brown.
probably
Right.
still
No.
late Stone Age.
No, hard to say. Hard to say.
Anyways, all right. So then, okay, so you notice that from like these sage and saint-like figures down to emperors to kings, and then finally down to duke level. So it keeps coming down, right? The level in the past it used to be the sage kings, whatever. But after Duke Zhou, there's like this person who's the ruler wasn't very, I don't know, maybe he wasn't very upright or whatever. So then that's when the time actually
Now, Duke Zhou was during the time of the fading of the Zhou dynasty.
yeah, the Zhou
fading,
dynasty,
the
yeah, it's kinda
decline
near
of the Zhou
declining.
dynasty.
yeah. So then it transferred over to scholars or religious leaders, right? The Tao lineage. Now, although they aren't rulers, they can spread their teachings. Okay, they can teach about the truth.
They're basically teachers.
Yeah,
Masters.
teachers, yeah.
Teachers, masters.
So Lao Tzu, Confucius, Zhenzi, Zisi, and Mencius. So these are all Confucius followers, right? Including his grandson, Zisi, right? So Mencius, by the time Mencius, then that's like
Confucius was already gone. Yeah.
what?
By the time Mencius, Confucius was
Oh, of
already
course.
Oh
gone.
yeah. It's already 3 generations.
Yeah,
So
right.
Over 100 years. Yeah.
that's also the what was that? The Warring States period.
Yeah, that's-
So it's chaotic again. So once there's too much chaos, they can't really transmit the Tao, the lineage. So
That was before Qin Shi Huang,
Yeah, right before. Yeah.
right before.
So then it goes to India. Now, how it got there, there's legend that says Lao Tzu went over there, but
Hard to say.
Siddhartha did not get it from.
Lao Tzu.
Because
Not
in the
according to
stories,
stories.
the Buddhist stories, I mean, he just
talk about
online by
that.
himself, right? So,
Well,
But it-
Deepak Kara gave him the
well, but he. So now Buddha is not the first patriarch here, is because he's not a patriarch. He's not considered the patriarch. Okay, so he passed it on, that patriarch mandate, to Ma Kasyapa, okay, through that flower sermon, right? Okay, so then there are a total of 28 in India. So these are all, I'm not going to go through all these.
Why
But
do you remember all the names?
up to Bodhidharma, right? Bodhidharma, then again, India,
Well, there are a couple important ones.
yeah, there's. But so Bodhidharma, so again, things weren't looking good in India at that time.
Yeah,
Right.
this is around like 500.
This is
AD.
yeah,
Around
that's-
500.
No, that's when they got invaded by the some tribes on the north. They got invaded, you know that?
Yeah.
And they started destroying a lot of temples. So it became chaos.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a warring
yeah,
period.
yeah,
It's
well,
similar.
yeah. Yeah, so he saw a purple aura in the east. It's a good, it's auspicious. So
Good
he
sign. Good
so
omen,
he
good
so he
omen.
goes to the east, which is China, and then he comes bring it back to China. So Bodhidharma, he's counted twice. He's the only one who's counted twice
Yeah, that's
in the patriarch, because you started a new place, so he's
Pioneering.
pioneering the Tao there, right? So he's the first in China, and then so it goes through Huike, Sun Can, Dao Xing, Hongren, and Huineng, right? The sixth patriarch. So the sixth patriarch, very important. Of course, he has that sutra.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Yeah, the others didn't leave any sutras.
He's the only non-Buddhist
non
tradition sutra. Well, he's
Yeah, he is.
but he is non-Indian
non-Indian.
now.
Right. So he's the only
Interesting.
So, but then he's also okay. So with
Classic.
Bodhidharma, they passed the bowl and the
Robe.
cloak or the robe, okay, as an indication of the patriarch.
Well, that's really started from Buddhism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it started. Yeah, back then. Yeah, but then Huineng it stopped there.
Because,
So when we
because the
do-
fifth patriarch told him to stop.
So when
Yeah.
we did the 64 patriarch,
Yeah,
Bodhidharma
he's
counted twice, including
Yes.
yeah. He still counted
Yes.
twice.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
He gets double credit.
Yeah, he gets double credit. Yeah.
You asked the question.
Huh?
You asked the question.
But,
Your
but there's a
mind.
reason for it. There's a reason for it. Okay, I'll explain.
Okay.
Does it mean he get like two positions?
Well, no. Okay, but anyways, yeah, the lineage continues. I think the seventh or the eighth, right? There's a gap after these
Yeah,
guys.
7 and 8. Seven
Yeah.
Between-
Roughly,
7 and 8.
7 and 8.
roughly
Almost 1,000 years.
around the
Yeah.
Song Dynasty time,
Yeah.
right?
Even
No,
before the
no, no,
Song
no.
Or before.
Yeah, it's between
Because-
the
Yeah.
8th and
Ashin
9th.
was when before
It's between the
Well,
8th
but
and
Jigong
9th.
is during the
okay,
Song.
8 and 9. I thought it was 7 and 8.
Between,
Yeah, I thought it was
no,
after the
between
Ma.
Mo Wei Chun and Huang De Hui.
Really?
8th and 9th. Yeah. Because the 7th and the 8th are, they overlap.
Oh, okay,
Seven,
very
eight,
Yeah,
close,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, yeah. So, but the Tao, even though it kind of, you can say yin, so it kind of went
Became hidden.
hidden. I mean, this patriarch thing became hidden, but the Tao was still available. Was still around in terms of these sage,
Like the
Immortals.
8 immortals.
eight immortals, seven
Yeah.
Taoist
Lao Tzu.
masters,
They all
Jigong
have
Buddha. They're all during that time.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah,
during that
1,000
time.
years.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very,
very
very
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's still.
Oh, Lao Tzu
No,
also
holy
made
teacher,
that
holy
During that
teacher
time, during that
showed
time.
up around that time
What?
in that 1,000-year period.
Who?
Holy teacher.
Yeah, right.
Holy
Jigong
teacher.
Buddha. Yeah.
Well, Jigong.
Jigong.
Qigong.
Yeah.
At
So.
least ask Qigong. he
Right.
knows.
And then
very
so after that period, then it picks up again with this Wu Jingling. Okay, so anyways, and then it comes down to 16. So that's the end of the red era, and then the white, of course. Only at the beginning of the white we have these two patriarch generations.
Yeah, because we're still in the beginning.
Yeah, well, yeah, the beginning, but there won't be any more, of course.
But the 64 did not include the white.
Yeah, 64
did.
includes, so
So
it's
you counted
18,
all that.
28, and 18.
Yeah.
So that's 64.
The last 18 means it includes these two.
Yeah, includes these two, right? Because starting
Because
from
only-
So
Bodhidharma,
if you count the number,
Oh.
it should only be 63.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
because
64.
No,
Well,
Oh,
63
Bodhidharma.
because
Different.
Bodhidharma,
Well, in
you
terms
counted
of,
twice.
yeah, I mean, if you want to,
I mean, human forms should only be 63.
but then some of them have 2 or 3
Yeah.
at
Oh,
the
some
same
have
time. At the
three,
same
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
Because
Wenwu Zhou.
they're roughly at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wenwu Zhou.
same thing like when 6 years,
And
he
also
passed on to
the-
actually 2 people.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
didn't do it just to one, and the
Right.
second one went to another one.
Right.
No, he
7th
actually
and
did
8th
2.
also roughly.
At the
Right.
same, he did 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
just
So
like,
confusing.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's overlap.
yeah. So just like the last 18, the overlap
Yeah.
between the two, or they got it at the same time. So, but Yeah, so this lineage, I mean, this kind of follows the I Ching, I guess, the 64 hexagrams. But, you know, so, but now's the time, you know, we have the Tao, we have all these religions too, different beliefs, and plus false, you can say false Tao. I don't know if you want to say false Tao, but, you know, they have like the 19th and 20th patriarchs and even the 21st patriarch. Okay, so these we know that are false. That's not the part of the real lineage. I mean, even after sixth patriarch, so the Tao was no longer in Buddhism.
Yeah.
Right? Even though these are like practitioners of,
Yeah.
you know,
have
they
some
might.
religious maybe.
I mean, they had like their own, you know, practice, whatever. I mean, they might follow like the
Don't
Buddhist.
ordinary people. A lot
Well,
of these-
No,
No,
they
but
weren't
they
like
still
official
practice-
monks or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that.
but they still practice
Yeah,
the,
they still
you know,
practice
like the
cultivation.
precepts or whatever, those
Yeah, they
cultivations.
practice
Yeah.
cultivation.
These are people with high wisdom.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, they're
They're
patriarchs.
the patriarchs. That's why. Yeah. So that's why. So since then, there was no religion had the Tao, the essence, the mandate.
No religious leader.
Had the mandate.
Also,
No religious
number
leader.
13. Number 13,
There's
right?
one.
He is a reincarnation of Maitreya. You know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a contemporary with him. It's the incarnation, Yang Huanxu. It's incarnation of Avalokitesvara.
Well, yeah, they've been reincarnating so many times, 72 times. So you know,
That's,
yeah. So it could be any, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of these, that's why a lot of these people, like he said,
incarnate multiple times.
I don't know if the 13 is it, but remember Mila had his current form, his physical form.
Right.
Well, that's the
His
Way
physical
back,
form,
that's
the
right?
Buddhai, the Buddhai,
Yeah, when he
like a
was
Buddhai,
the monk
Hasa,
with the
Class sack.
Canvas sack.
I don't know when
It
that
was
is.
known at that time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's why the reason why his statue is what it is. It's not because of his latest incarnation.
No, that's
no,
why
no,
he's
no,
most well known.
Yeah,
Most
when
well
he's
known.
most well known. during
Yeah,
that
like
time.
holy teacher.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
well known.
yeah, right.
You know, we could say 18th patriarch is holy teacher too,
Right.
but that's not as well known.
Right.
But as you know, during the Song Dynasty, right? Song Dynasty. That's when 18th patriarch came about, right?
The latter
So-
song dynasty.
Yeah, latter Song. Yeah, he was the crazy monk, so he was well known.
Right.
So.
So yeah, although after the sixth patriarch, these are more.
Scholars.
Secular-
Or
Secular, no,
just say
secular,
secular.
secular,
Not necessarily
secular.
scholars.
I mean, they're
outside.
not. They're no longer. They're outside the religious order.
Correct.
Okay, so
Religious
even though they do
institutions,
practice,
yes, yes,
yeah.
correct.
So including the white, the
Well,
white
outside the official
religious order.
institutional,
Right.
yeah, whatever.
Right. I mean, in Buddhism, they still had their masters, their Dharma masters, whatever, that continue down, but they didn't have that mandate anymore. Right.
Yeah. Now,
So
yeah, because the Bodhidharma was brought up.
yeah.
If you look at Buddha and then the 28
Right.
and then the Bodhidharma, Buddha is not considering one of
Right.
these because he actually became a Buddha. You know,
A Buddha,
we
I mean,
became,
yeah.
we Chenfu, we say Chenfu,
Yeah.
became Buddha. Okay. Whereas all these other humans, okay, whether they actually Chenfu or not, it's not the same level as what Buddha achieved. So that's why he's not. Now, in terms of why Bodhidharma,
Yeah.
so I got counted twice.
Right, yeah.
Okay, now that's a little more of a guessing game on my part, so I can't be sure of that. But in a way, he did, because you could say, he literally was the only one that at one place he received the Dharma, right? He received the Dharma. That's how he got transferred from 27 to 28. And then he actually went somewhere else.
Different place.
Different place to whatever. Now, if Mencius had done that, and he had to make, for example,
Into
take,
India.
take the case of
Went
Mencius.
to India,
He,
yeah.
or
Gave it to
he went
Siddhartha.
to India. He came to India and then passed it on to
Mahakasapa.
Mahakasapa. Okay, then probably Mencius will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
twice
right.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe. Okay, again, it's a
Right.
guess.
Same logic.
But it's only because he went
Right.
to a different
Started
place.
in a new
He
place.
himself.
Yeah.
He was
Physically.
already a patriarch at his own place.
Now these are
But then
just
he
for
went to-
mandate time.
Again,
Yeah, this is just the mandate.
yeah, because there are many different, during all time, there are many people who achieve.
They have enlightenment.
Buddhahood.
They have enlightenment. Well, not Buddhahood, but they
Oh,
are
well,
enlightenment.
I don't think
At least
Not
arhats. At
Buddha.
least arhats.
Yeah, at least our was enlightenment.
Our hearts and above. Oh, Bodhisattva.
Yeah.
Bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva enlightenment, right? Because take the case of Guan Yin. She is outside of
Yeah, she's not,
That's
well,
true.
the order. She's outside the
this,
order
yeah.
of the
Because
order
She doesn't
of.
have the mandate of
Yeah.
patriarch
right,
mandate.
not, yeah,
But
not
she
a
called it
patriarch.
down. She 成道.
Yeah, yeah.
Achieved
Well, Bodhisattva
Bodhisattva
enlightenment.
status. right?
Not Buddha.
So but she
Bodhisattva.
wasn't necessarily a follower of the Buddha. She was in the order, but not necessarily a direct follower. See, so within all these patriarchs time frame, there are many who some well known, some not. I mean well known like the 8 immortals, the
Yeah,
Chichen
they
the seven
achieve
thousand
enlightenment.
masters.
Yeah, they all
also
achieve
achieve
enlightenment.
some form of enlightenment, but they
Not
have
necessarily Buddha.
Not like Buddha though.
not
Not,
necessarily Buddha.
Not necessarily Anuttara Sanasana.
Yeah, not
not the
that.
highest level.
Yeah.
Because the Buddha
That's what I
achieved the
mean by
highest
Buddha,
level.
Buddha, for example.
So there are many still who were outside of the lineage who cultivate.
Yeah.
Who cultivate.
Oh yeah.
And from that cultivation, they achieve
No,
enlightenment.
this lineage is talking about the patriarchal hood mandate.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's
right.
it. That's all. Yeah. It has nothing to do. It's not to say, oh, besides them, there were nobody
No,
else. No.
so what does patriarchal
There are tons of
mandate
people
mean? That
outside.
they have the mandate to propagate the
Yeah,
Dharma,
right,
to
right.
spread the teaching,
Right.
and to pass on the mandate.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very important.
Because the other people who are outside,
They can
outside mandate,
teach,
They can
they can-
achieve.
So that's the
And they
golden
could,
thread.
and they
So
could
what I'm saying is
teach
that's the
the
golden
principles
thread.
of the Tao, but they themselves cannot allow somebody else to
No,
continue.
they cannot pass. They
Yeah.
do not have that
They don't have a mandate to.
Right.
pass on. Say, oh, you can go spread the teaching and pass on the mandate. They don't have that
Yeah.
Right.
authority.
But
don't
they
have
might
that
be able to like
to
enlighten the
enlighten other
help.
people.
No, you
I mean,
can,
but
yeah.
cannot say, oh,
Yeah.
I give you the authority to also
Right, do
enlighten
that.
others and pass on. You know what I'm saying? That's a different level of mandate.
Yeah.
Different level.
Okay, yeah. So, so that's, this is, let's see.
Okay, oh,
Hmm?
may I interject? Okay, the white. You'll notice
White?
if you follow from the green to the red, the end of the red, and even up to the end of the beginning of the white, you'll notice what? It's all what? A person who has it, and then a successor is selected. Correct? A
Yeah.
successor is selected, especially in the Buddhist tradition. How did Makasapaya became the next one? Because Buddha said he was going to be
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
one, right?
yeah.
And then, so the same thing with the
Fifth
Makasapaya
to the sixth.
Ananda. He basically
Right.
said, you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
going to be the
yeah,
winner.
they
So each has
directly
been selected,
chose,
chosen.
the next,
But starting the white, after the red ended, the 16th patriarch, right? 16th patriarch, he ended it.
yeah.
He did not pass on. Right. Okay. He did not pass on to the white era, Mila. Okay, Mila Zusa. Okay, and so that's why in this white period, it's called the period of what? The test of wisdom. The test of your wisdom.
More
Is
far,
when
yeah,
it
more
is
far.
when it begins to you now begin
Dharma
to
ending age.
now you must use your wisdom to really achieve the Tao or to enlightenment. Okay, if without this wisdom, without using your wisdom, you could go astray very easily. Okay, you could go sideways. So that's why, because after all, when he got selected, it was only because what did the one his predecessor chose? No,
15.
no,
no one knew he was the one. No one knew.
well. God gave hints, God gave hints.
Maybe the fifth, maybe the 16 knew because he saw his hand. He saw his
Yeah.
hand. But whether
But he
there's no
didn't really-
there's no record of him saying he knew or not.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
he
didn't.
only saw his hand, and then from here to here, same thing, right?
Yeah, they did,
Because it was heaven who.
right.
Well, it was only
Said-
in the sand
Yeah,
Right.
sand right.
later on.
But
Same thing
when he
for
passed,
both.
but remember he passed away before
That's true.
they got the mandate,
Yeah, that's true.
right? 4 years.
5
Yeah,
years,
this
6
4 or 5
5-year
years,
gap.
right.
5-year gap.
And just so happened his sister happened
Yeah,
to be
Guan Yin.
Guan Yin.
Guanyin incarnation.
Guan Yin, and people who follow Guan Yin continue on to his aspirations of propagating the Tao. But anyway, the point is that from here on, these two, it all relies on your wisdom. So that's why it is in this time we have a lot of false.
Yeah, false.
Why should there be false? Because it's to test your wisdom.
Yeah.
A false one would come, and if you, okay, yeah. Then unfortunately,
the 18th patriarch.
you will lose your
son,
way.
you know that?
Yeah, you will lose your way. Yeah.
师兄
Son.
Is that 师兄?
Yeah.
There's a lot of tests. Anyway, the point is that starting with the white, because he's the white, that's why everything based on.
No, but that's also a characteristic of what we call the Dharma ending era.
Right.
More
When the Dharma
far.
begins to end. Yeah, when the true Dharma
True
begins
Dharma,
to end.
true Dharma.
Because some people will say, oh, I still have the true Dharma. No, but the truth, when it begins to end, then it requires on what?
Awareness,
awareness, self-awakening,
self-awareness,
self-teaching, if you will,
and
even.
wisdom.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why it's relies on your wisdom.
So that's why that
So that's why it's
Buddha nature thing study is very
Yeah.
important. The
very,
心理
very
心法.
important. Yeah, because after all, 心理心法 according to Lao Tzu is saying the main purpose of, one of the main reasons for learning 心理心法 is to what? 破相,
Yeah.
to see beyond or break through
Yeah.
the form.
Forms.
The
Yeah.
form.
People are too
beyond that.
attached to the
Because
form.
if you're still a little bit
Transcend-
attached to the form, because a teaching could be a form.
Yeah.
It's a form.
Yeah.
It's a method. It's a form still, not just physical what you can see, hear, and touch. It's everything. So therefore, if you're not careful, let's put it that way, okay, then it's so easy to be diverted from your true teaching. And like Liu Jiangzi says, if you lecturer Liu says, if you lose that, you'll be back next time. Let's put it that way. You cannot 成就, he said, be saved.
Cannot achieve.
No,
the-
achieve.
Yeah, you cannot
Yeah.
achieve
So,
the
yeah.
true Buddha. Because, it's very interesting. Yeah. When you talk about this,
The Buddha nature.
yeah, the Buddha, it's very important. Yeah, we tried. Unfortunately, it's not in English right now, but we have some English, so to speak. Okay. But for those who are English speaking or whatever reading, yeah, maybe one day we will try to. There's a lot, right? There's a lot, tons of it. This Buddha nature class. Okay, but anyway, important things that we should try to make an effort. Even though I don't understand it, a lot of what he's saying. Sometimes he speaks Taiwanese. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Even you don't understand.
No, not Taiwanese.
How do we
Not
understand?
So you're
Taiwanese.
born in Taiwan.
Yeah.
So
Shame on you.
okay, but I'm in the U.S. now.
Just keep listening.
Yeah,
And then
but
eventually
just
you'll
keep
get it.
listening because honestly, my own experience is that when I listen to sometimes he says something, I go, "Wow!" It just didn't occur to me, and when he says it, I realize that, and then how I see it connects to other things that he said.
You
But
mean you have a aha moment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
epiphany.
I have it. I have an aha moment, two ahas,
Epiphany.
a double aha moment. Okay, so no, you will. I think you will if you have some idea of Chinese.
Yeah,
I understood one
So the
thing
key
he
is you have
said.
to keep
Liu Gai Mo, Liu Gai Mo, something like that.
Okay, I don't know, but yeah, very good. So I can't stress enough that now you really have to use your wisdom. Don't just blindly follow a class or a teaching or a lecture. No, because you may hear some people from other places who lectures even better. No, seriously, that's where all the false prophets, the false 祖师 come out. They can even do, like they say, 神通, read your mind, or they can do miracle, perform miracles. So what do? It's very important that you have to use your wisdom, because it is so easy to get away. Probably say, "Oh, you have some hardship. Let me help you financially or whatever." Okay, you're grateful to him at first, and maybe there's no. Then he goes, "Oh no, you should follow me now."
No, thank
What happens then? So that's why it is easy to get
That's lunching Dao.
lunch
Make sure
down.
you
What we call,
avoid that.
human relationship,
Sentiment,
the
yeah.
Tao of human relationships.
based on human.
Yeah, right.
Sentiment.
Sentiments, yes, based on it. So you need to be very careful. I don't want to say, okay, I don't need any more sentiment now. I'm not going to talk to my father like my father, treat my father like father or my mother. No. You still have those confusion, not regulations, but confusion standards, if you will.
Propriety.
Yeah, propriety. You still have that. But even if you meet a false word, you still have that problem. You can't say, oh, okay, I don't listen to you, garbage, whatever. No, because
So
you're insulting
respect
him.
that
Or
respect.
you insult. You still must have same
Respect
propriety
or-
as you would have a person.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you have to accept what he says or he says. Yeah. So it's very important that we today must be very careful about that. That's why does the Buddha said you should follow your predecessor, your Chenan. Don't leave your temple. Don't go to other temples and visit or whatever, because it becomes very easy for you to digress. Okay, and you follow your Chenan. It's only because at least you know that your Chenshen, your predecessor, is okay.
Yeah, they're proper. They're
Right.
part of the
Yeah.
what we call.
Yeah, regardless of what their character is, their mandate is true. Okay, so therefore you should follow that. Okay, so sometimes sure we not necessarily are in agreement with our predecessors. That's okay. Okay, but the point is that you follow the mandate. You don't follow the person. The character is the person. See? Okay, it's not So anyway, we all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the point is that, make sure you take a lot of time to 反省, to
Reflect.
Yeah, reflect.
Self-reflect.
Because
Self-introspection.
yeah, because it is only through a lot of reflection that I myself, oh, okay, yeah, you know, I realize certain things. Okay, but it's important that you self-reflect a lot. Okay. I mean, I don't want to say, oh, you shouldn't do outer cultivation. Okay, no, outer cultivation is there too.
No, we have to do both.
But keep in mind though, think about it. In the 15 precepts, when the teacher was explaining the first precept, the most important precept, he talks about Yan Hui and Zhenzi, the
Right, he told the
the
difference.
two
between
confusion.
the
Can you
two.
put up the confusion? The two,
Right,
the two.
The two.
Those became what?
and Zhenzi.
Right.
You know, saints or Buddha, saints. Yeah,
Well,
Zhenzi
yeah,
and
Zhenzi.
now
Yeah.
Yan Hui is not listed here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He
Yeah.
died.
He died
Because he
before
didn't receive
between
the
this,
mandate.
right?
I mean,
No.
He didn't get the mandate.
Yeah, he, however, became enlightened at the age of 32 or 33.
30,
Okay.
yeah.
He was a poor, but because according to the explanation of the teacher, he said he realized that human life is not very long, and that his circumstances are impoverishment.
Right.
So what he did is what he emphasized inner cultivation.
Inner cultivation.
Okay, and through his inner cultivation and constant reflection, he came to realizing almost like the Buddha. Oh,
Right.
I understood.
He
I
became-
understood.
yeah,
But yet, when you think about what are the deeds that he has done,
Nothing.
all he did
Very
was
little.
basically became a cook for the group of the Confucian
Yeah,
group.
yeah, he didn't do much.
He didn't do much. He didn't go help city fight off attackers or like Zhenzi.
King, help a king.
Yeah, like Zhenzi, he did that.
Yeah,
Zigong.
Zhenzi was
Zigong.
an official.
Yeah, he was a
Zigong
government
even
official
more.
too.
Zigong
Right?
even more.
But anyway, he had many disciples, his friends, his local friends,
Fellow disciples.
fellow disciples, who were like wealthy and powerful, you know, intellectual.
Have some status.
Very
Social
capable.
status.
Yeah, very
Say that
capable.
it's okay to cultivate at home?
No.
No,
Here's the thing.
Don't forget.
Just
we're in a
because,
different period
yeah,
now.
yeah, because
He's looking there for the
Yeah.
shortcut
Right,
way out.
because
shortcut.
Don't give
he
it to her.
emphasized,
So
but
I don't have to dry anymore?
But his emphasis is not this. It's not that you don't do all cultivation. Because look, let's face it, you can do by yourself, and honestly, no one will know whether you're
You could
cultivating or
become an
not.
arhat.
Yeah, nobody
Okay,
knows.
and you'll become like an
Yes,
arhat. Okay, but the fact that once you cultivate something,
You
then
still
you
have
need to
karma.
what? What does Lao Tzu say about the things we have to do? Because it's not to say that you can say whatever you are or not at a certain level. It's whether you can 做到.
Express it.
Express it, right? Remember, there's one that was a code. What was it? One of the 50. It's in that. It's in that.
It's
I,
done
I
15.
think no, it's not 15. It's in that bookmark. I think I'm not so sure. But the first phrase just says, "It's not just. It's not. You are not what you are
go,
based on
go.
what you say or whatever. But rather, it may not be in there. But the second one is the fact that the second phrase is it's based on what you can what 做到
Yeah.
做到. Okay, so that's why he basically cultivated inner cultivation. That's true, but he also what practiced it,
Well,
practiced
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and basically he became very in tune with his Buddha nature. And so when you practice that, your propriety is okay, your everything
Right,
is good.
right.
So it is only then that you can say, hey, but that's outer cultivation. The fact that you conduct yourself properly, whatever.
Right.
That's all outer cultivation. It's not to say, okay, you know, I have to go out and do it, or to help bring people to Tao. So those are okay too. But again, that's not Yan Hui's form of cultivation. And yet he became what? Higher than Sun Tzu
Well, they say
in terms of
full
the
sense. He's
position.
full sense.
Yeah, he's the next
He's
one.
like a
He's
copy
the
of
restoration
Confucius.
of the what?
Okay.
Recitation, the sage. Because Confucius is the model, is the
Right.
sample. He's full son, means that he's the one that emulates.
He's like an exact copy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he emulates
Restoration. He
the
restores.
Confucius.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones are not.
No, he said
They're
Zhenzi,
lesser.
right? Holy teacher.
They had lesser
Talk
positions.
about the two, right? He said
And
Zhenzi
these are
was
people who are
both,
very,
right?
very
Zhenzi.
capable. They go out, you know, they're like,
Zhenzi.
they're like, some are government officials, some are very rich. They go out and do things a lot. So that's why when Lao Tzu was explaining that 15 precepts about the Yan Hui and Zhenzi, he used the two examples. He says,
No, Zhenzi is
One-
white.
yeah, one emphasized inner, one emphasized outer. Now, it's not to say that really there is a true difference, but there is a degree of
One is
difference.
the
There's still a degree of difference.
No. Even though the Fanxing is still internal, but
Because,
he's talking about the external.
yeah,
side.
right. And the
Right.
reason why is this.
Three things.
If you think about it, yeah, if you think about it, what are the things that teacher tells us to do? We're all saying that. 改毛病,气脾气.
Yeah.
Get rid of your, what? Bad habits and your temperament, etc.
Bad
Why?
temperament.
Because it is true that all those are inner. That's true. But what is it that stays with you when you leave this world, if you will? is your 品格. Because
No, you're,
you look at it another way. Let's look at just temporal
Character.
heaven. Let's look at
Character.
temporal heaven as an example. Temporal heaven. Now, people in temporal heaven, they don't receive the Tao, right?
yeah, right.
Okay, but they can still go to paradise, so to speak. We'll call it paradise for now. But then, don't they bring all their, think about it, don't they bring all their Malbim Pichi with them?
Yes.
Of
Yes.
course, of course. Okay, and so therefore, that's why even teacher has said one of the greatest anguishes or agony that they face is when they realize they have to come back down.
Right.
They have to leave this paradise and enter this
Come
world.
back down and
Yeah, that's
get rid of those
that's their
bad
most. Yeah. So an important thing is this: is that all these temperaments and whatever, all are what created
when we're in this,
when we're in this world,
yeah, when we're in this physical realm.
right? So basically,
Or
it's
quiet,
like what Du Jiangsi said. Let your Du says. He used an example when he was talking about class. He said, every day I meet a guy that what I can't stand when I go to work. Right? Remember? He says
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
right? Okay,
That's part
so
of the
so
eight
so so
suffering.
let's change the environment. Let's say, and then he goes home, and then you see, oh, and when he meets that guy, he's always frustrated or angry or whatever. And then when he goes home, he's all nice and good. Okay, and then we say, hey, okay, wait, when he's at home, he has no anger issues, no whatever. His Malbim Pichi is all gone. Is that right?
No,
No.
that's not true.
Because you will only be able to what? Overcome your Malbim Pichi when you are what? In its presence, in the present situation.
Yeah, when you encounter it.
And when you that's why there's ho, the aspect of
Yeah,
ho,
that's called
etc.
temperament.
Temperament.
Yeah,
Or no,
refinement,
persistence,
refinement.
right, persistent. So the idea is that if you have Malbim Pichi, you don't get rid of them now. And because you receive the Tao, guess what? You still go up, right? Okay.
But that's only temporary.
But your Malbim Pichi is with you. And then now you say, wait a minute. Some people say, wait. I can cultivate in heaven.
Yeah.
Which is
Not
true.
to say that.
Which is
Not
true.
to say that.
But again, the same thing with the example of the Du Jiangsi's condition. When he's not facing his guy that he disliked, he's doing great.
yeah, it's hard to.
But when you
cultivate.
encounter that person, so what happens if there's someone you really don't really like, and they also go to heaven because they chew down too. They chew down. What happens there?
You have to face them all the time.
Yeah.
What happens if you face them? Do you
You're
say,
in
do you say, I face you now because we're in heaven, I have no Malbim Pichi? None of that? No! You still won't have it.
They're going to be in the
And
same
therefore
cave.
you will still in the same condition. So therefore, what's the difference between heaven and earth?
That's right. Then becomes no.
So
difference.
therefore, that is why it's very important to get rid of inner cultivation is very, very important. Because if you can get rid of
Yeah,
that,
that's the.
if you can get rid of that,
foundation. Yeah, that's
regardless
the
what
core.
environment
Core.
you're in,
Yeah, core.
you're still what? Following your true nature. So that's why that is the core. Because honestly, when we say, okay, if I Shingon a lot, do a lot of D mirrors, I can stay a long time in heaven, more than 10,000 whatever years, right? But guess what? That's just a term for time. I can stay there for 10,000 years, I can stay there for 1,000,000 years. But guess what? 1,000,000 years is still what?
You still
1,000,000
come
years.
down.
And you still have to come down. So,
There's still a
yeah, it's a time limit. Just like the temporal heaven. They have time limits, right?
Yeah.
Based on their
They
deeds.
have many kalpas.
So that's why the merits that you do in a way, the outer merits that you do, okay, not all of it necessarily, but many of the merits that you do, like Lu said, it's all what? Have sun near. Have
Yeah.
creation and destruction. In other words, time used up. Okay, because where do you? I mean, if you didn't do a good deed in this world, you didn't create a merit, right? But you did a good deed. Oh, you created a merit. Okay, so therefore that merit in a way is true. That's why they use example money in the bank.
It also depends on how you create it. That's
Exactly. Because if you say okay, I disregard it as charity or whatever, that's why
No, you have to have
Buddhists talk
wu-wei
about
xing.
that's why Buddhists talk about that. Oh, you're very generous with it, but you don't. Liu Jiangxi even said you don't what remember it as something you
remember,
did.
not even have a thought.
Yeah, and that means that's no longer merit. That becomes fuda, right? Fuda, which is it's a reward that will come in the future.
Yeah,
So
karmic
it's-
reward.
Yeah. So when we do Wai Gong, especially when we do Wai Gong, and even some Nei Gong, we should always have Wu Wei Xin.
Yeah,
That's
very,
true.
very-
But how do you get Wu Wei Xin? It requires you to cultivate what?
Inner.
Right,
No,
right.
I agree.
Right?
That's
So that's why inner is very important. I mean, it is true that you have to do it both at the same
Yeah.
time because you do something. That's why I like to say that, okay, you have 学习, you learn something, right?
And
And
then
you have to
practice.
温习. 温习 means what? To analyze, think about what you do. And then you have to 学习, 练习,
Yeah,
practice.
Practice.
And then you have 反习 to what? reflect upon it, because sometimes and then you repeat the cycle all
Yeah,
over again.
it's a
You
cycle.
keep going.
Yeah,
You keep going. So those
That's
are
called
yeah,
顺其.
yeah. So those are 4 things I try to follow, but it's not always the case. Not always follow. Okay.
But
So
it's not easy.
absolutely true.
Well,
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you, how many Buddhas are there that you know in your
That's-
lifetime?
That's why there's only one Buddha in, so far as we know,
In
in
this cycle.
terms of, this past 3,000 years.
It's hard, yeah.
Because there was only one Buddha.
When we say Buddha, do we mean
The absolute highest.
53rd level, yeah,
Yeah.
the Anuttara
The highest level.
Doesn't mean that, they're all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas.
Yeah, but there's different levels.
No,
of
no,
Buddhas.
one
I mean, some
in
of
the
them
cycle
are
that
Buddhas.
attained that
Yeah.
position during this cycle.
Yeah,
Yes.
one in the cycle, right? Only one. So as far as we know.
That's what they say, one per kalpa.
Right. So
That's
I mean, if
yeah,
this is
that's
a kalpa,
that's
yeah,
scary.
that's what- yeah.
So anyway, so we can still do our best. That's true. But if you really haven't gotten rid of all your, your
Oh,
Malbin
okay.
PT, your whatever, then honestly, no matter how much you do Wai Gong, honestly, you'll still have to come back.
That's
Because like I said, if two
That's
people people you dislike go to become
supposed to
receive
go
the
up
Tao,
there too. Then what
what are you gonna do? You're with them.
Oh.
Okay, now the good news is that you're with them, so yes, you can try to shoot.
To cultivate.
Remember, the environment allows you to what? But it's harder because it's not in the same condition as human
Well,
world.
we don't have a
Okay,
physical body.
but at least you can deal with. So in a sense, you can cultivate too. That's true in the heaven. But remember, you have a time limit. You have a time limit based on your gongda. So if you haven't done it by then, guess what? You'll be back down again.
Yeah. So to summarize, basically what it is that.
Oh wait, before you summarize, yeah. Let us first.
So, but your children can uplift you, right? That
What?
means that
That's
your
No,
children.
you already received the Tao. Why would
There's no
you
need to
use
uplift
it?
No, you mean that you can get merit from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can help you stay longer.
That's
true.
external merit.
But they cannot help you change your Malbin.
Yeah,
function.
right.
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 They cannot.
See, so
But
your
what-
your later generations can help you. That's true.
Well, what is the cause of the bad temper?
Well, whether it's because of the children, or it could be like in the case of lecturer Du, he would say it's just his co-work.
No, okay.
So it could be anything. It could be inside and outside. Both. It could be both. It could
Yeah.
be, because after all, they are with you because your children are with you is because you have karma with
Right,
them
my
in the
karma.
first place. Right?
Right.
Okay. So whether that karma is good or bad, or debt or credit, who's to say?
Yeah. So the key is this. That's why we have Buddha nature class. Is that the core, the fundamental, the best is we have to really correct ourselves within. Okay, within first. That's. In other words, even if you didn't do anything externally,
Right.
let's just say that is still the most important. Get it? No, it's true. It's true.
And it's hard because
Now-
you do that, there'll be many tests
Right,
to
right,
prove
right.
that.
But because we are in this period, which is the white era, that's very important too. That's why I say
Yeah.
the timing
Yeah.
is also important because during Yan Hui's time, during the red era, the you can say the primary or the primary responsibility or maybe mission, maybe that's a better word. Mission is not to go out and spread
Right.
the Tao
Right.
wide and far.
Right.
No, that wasn't the primary
Right.
mission. You understand? Primary mission.
Right.
So like the what do you call that? The primary mission. That's a term. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The primary mission is to individually cultivate oneself. Get it? So that's why Yan Hui followed that. Okay? So that's why you can't fault him for
Yeah.
doing that. Okay? So but because now we're in this white era, which is the universal salvation, so therefore you can say there's an added pressure,
Responsibility.
responsibility,
Yeah.
duty or mission It's not only to carry out the red period's focus of cultivating yourself internally, but also go out and spread the Tao. Get it? So it's like double. It's like
Yeah,
double.
because
Yeah.
our
It's
holy
like double.
teacher's mission or whatever his aspiration was to what? To really do 这些缘人. We
Yeah.
say 缘人, just meaning people who
And
we
that's
have
because it's
affinity
the
with.
timing. That's because
Because
of the timing.
that was one of his duties, or if you will, his responsibilities. And because we are his disciples,
Yeah.
so to speak, and he's no longer here, we have to carry out that
Right. So
responsibility.
let me conclude. So if we understand that, then the key in this period, I'm saying right now, okay, this 100 years or whatever, this white era, is that we should not then forget about, or neglect, maybe that's a better term, neglect about cultivating our inner self and just focus on, understand? Just focus on, as long as I, bring people to receive the blessing and
Or donate.
give you books or donate and neglect about my inner cultivation. Understand? Then, yes, that's good too, but it's not as good as also focusing on your inner cultivation. Get it? Okay? Because it's the inner cultivation that will get you far. Right? That will keep you,
Is it almost
that will keep you up there. Okay? That's the key.
You finished?
So do not
Maybe
neglect
now
the
is
inner
the
cultivation.
female,
too.
maybe.
Because a lot of times we all focus on the external. Oh, look how many people I brought, to the temple to receive the blessing. That's good enough. Oop, that's the wrong view. That's wrong. That's okay. That's not really, and also that's not really the best. Actually, the most ideal is you have to correct your inside first. Then from inside go outward. Okay, not from outside go inward. Because I'm not saying that that's bad either, but I'm saying that the best method, right? We're talking about the best, the most ideal, the highest level, okay, highest level, right? It's always from inside going out. From our Buddha nature out. Get it? Not from forms or phenomena going in, because that's a longer way. That's a longer way. Okay? You want a shortcut? Shortcut is from inside out. That's the shortcut.
It's also the hardest one.
Yeah, that's also difficult too.
More difficult one. The more difficult one.
Okay.